Welcome to the Ogat Committee meeting of May 6, 2021. I'm the Ogat Committee Chairman, Saul Silverstein. Present on your screen are our Assistant Coordinator, Chris Kelly, our Coordinator, Ron Davis, Committee Member, Gary Del Piano, Committee Member, Bob Kelly, our Recording Secretary, Marlene Silverstein, and via phone, Committee Member, Mike Muddett. So the first item on the agenda tonight is questions and comments. Does any of the committee members have any questions or comments?
We have a quorum?
Excuse me?
Yep. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes.
Oh, we don't have, yeah, okay.
Four members constitutes a quorum, and there are exactly 4 members.
Okay.
In terms of questions and comments, I did have one comment, is that on the 25th of April, I turned on Ogat, and all I saw was the bulletin board and the weather report. That seems to happen like every month. Is there a reason for that?
The reason for that specific programming drop was the there was an audio hum on the it was especially bad with the info view, the continuity. So I took all the programming off, and I basically spent the majority of the day trying to figure out where the hum was coming from. And I brought the hum down to a more, it's still there from time to time, but it's pretty much eliminated. And that was basically the reason why I dropped the programming that day.
So it was down on purpose. Is there, instead of the bulletin board, could we just, and in a situation like that where you have to basically turn all the programming off, is there like a sign we could put up that just says temporarily no programming, that, flip it up with the bulletin board at least?
Yeah. There was a
maintenance is in progress, or something that warns the audience that we're down, and if you can give them an estimated time of coming back.
Yeah, that's totally fine. The only exception would be to this past situation. There was I think I could have thrown up a slide and definitely have done that. There was some of the slides have a lot of whites in them, and the super bright white actually creates an audio hum. So
you can choose other backgrounds for slides. They're all PowerPoints.
Yeah, unfortunately, but there's just time. There are times where there's going to be whites, like super bright whites, like when you have someone sharing a PowerPoint presentation on their computer. There's a lot of bright whites coming from the whites in the PowerPoint and Excel and whatnot. So I try to basically test for those extremes. And I wanted to eliminate the hum so that if we ever have that super bright picture coming through, we're not going to have that hum again. But I could definitely change the slides to a darker color.
Yeah, I think just something that informs the audience that there's no programming because there's a maintenance issue, or something technical is going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I think that would be good. Thank you. Sure. The other issue, I sent you and Ron a couple of emails. There's one program that I happened to be watching a couple of weeks ago, and it was the March 16 TBC meeting, and I just happened to turn it on, and it was already video on demand, because I think it was the 22nd of April that I was actually turned it on, and there were some dropouts, video dropouts for like 10 minutes of the program, right in the middle, at a little over the 1 hour mark in a 2.5 hour program. And so I was trying to it kept on happening. And then I went onto YouTube, and I caught the program on YouTube, and the audio video didn't drop out. But then I noticed what had actually happened in that same time frame. We lost 10 minutes of the program. It just went from one speaker abruptly to another speaker, and that actually happened to be 10 minutes later. So we lost 10 minutes of program on YouTube for some reason, and it's in that time frame, so they're obviously related. So I know I emailed you earlier today, and you emailed me back that you're still looking at it, but and if you actually look at the program lengths as shown on the bottom of the screen on our video on demand, it's 2 hours and 23 minutes long. If you look on YouTube, it's only 2 hours and 12 minutes long. So clearly that 10 minutes is missing. All right.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so if you need to look at that and find out if that's retrievable. I don't know if we have a backup copy that has the 10 minutes without the dropouts. Or if not, I think again, you may want to go edit the credit slides at the beginning to say there are technical difficulties in the middle of this program.
Sure.
Just to, again, inform the audience that it's there, but it's not all there. You know.
Yeah,
basically.
like the Zoom platform is great.
Yeah.
It's convenient, but it's not perfect. And unfortunately, there are sometimes, occasionally, like with this particular meeting, there are network glitches.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a network glitch because it was when I was editing the footage, I could see a little bit of some funny stuff going on there. But I didn't notice. With YouTube, I can't explain why there was a 10-minute cutout. That's a little bit unusual. So that's what I'm looking into now. I haven't experienced anything like that before. The only thing I could think of was maybe because I edit the videos on YouTube, there could have been a section split out somehow, but I'll look into that. The only thing I have, I'm hesitant sometimes to take programs off and put them up, only because they're I think Mike's trying to enter the meeting. I'll let him in, but so there are all the meetings. I try to be very diligent about putting them in order, in terms of in a sequence, so when they occur in time, and if I take them out of their place, if I remove them and then put them back, they're going to be essentially out of order, and you're gonna have this meeting from March at the most recent at the top, and I just that's the only thing I'm hesitant of doing. But I can certainly take it off and add a memo in the future. I can add the memo.
Well, I think on the one that we broadcast on Cloudcast, our Telview system, I think that has an opening credit, and in that opening credits, right after the credits, you should say, notice there was some technical issues during recording of this program, about an hour into the program,
right?
And just warn the audience. So maybe you and Ron can come up with some good wording for that.
Sure.
We used to do that.
Yep.
Excuse me.
I said we used to do that. And when we had to shut down, we had a card we put up.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice that 10-second or that 10-minute cutout, because that came from YouTube. And to be honest, I didn't watch the whole YouTube version. And when I edited the other version, I didn't see any significant cutout like 10 minutes. But
I didn't see any either on the Cloudcast version, but if you go to YouTube, I gave you in the email I sent you, gave you the exact time that it cut out. And you can tell because it abruptly goes from one speaker to another. Sure. And they're talking about, it's clear that there's something missing.
Okay.
All right. Okay. That's all I had for comments. If there are no other comments, the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes, and we have two sets of minutes. We have the minutes of the March 4th meeting, where all four active members were in attendance. And then we also have minutes of the April 8th meeting, where we did not have a quorum on April 8th. We did have minutes, so we can vote to approve both sets of minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 4th first. I see Mike raising his hand, seconded by Gary. Any discussion on the March 4th minutes? All in favor? Aye. It's unanimous of the four members. Thank you. The second set of minutes is April 8th. Three of us were present on April 8th. I think Gary was the only one who was absent.
If they weren't official, why are we approving them?
Yeah, so we can still. I asked Marlene, who is the expert on this, and she said, "Yeah, you approve them. You can approve them." So I'll take a motion to approve the April 8th minutes. Again, Mike has his hand up first. Do I have a second? Bob is the second. Thank you, Bob. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Gary, I guess you're abstaining.
I can't vote. I wasn't
That's
there.
right. Thank you. So that's it for the minutes. The next item is the budget. I've sent you all a copy of the current budget. Let me find my copy. Give me a second. And we're pretty much on track with the current budget. In terms of miscellaneous supplies and expense, we've only spent 37% of that. That's what we usually spend on equipment maintenance and our subscriptions, like our AT&T service for remote broadcasting and our internet service from Optimum. And we don't spend a lot on equipment on that because we've been relying on the Cable Advisory Council grants.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. We're, so that.
Oh, yeah. Tens of thousands of dollars each year so far. Temporary salaries, our recording secretary is 25% used. The two coordinators are about 90% used, which is on target. And the professional service, the temporary camera operators, is about 50% used. And we did not in the last year have a lot of need for the temporary camera operators because almost most meetings were virtual. And that continues today. There's only a few meetings that are not virtual. Typically, the Board of Ed is meeting live these days. There was one Board of Selectmen meeting I remember seeing live recently, and the budget hearing was live, and the annual town meeting next week is going to be live, I believe, in High Plains Community Center. So the budget is on track. The second item of the budget I sent you the Board of Finance approved budget for Ogat for next year, and they approved our request. Our request totaled $78,000. It's a little bit higher than last year. Last year it was $77,190. The difference was actually put in by the finance director because of an increase in one of the coordinator salaries way back last July, and we're accounting for that now. So that's good news. If that gets approved by the budget referendum, I think on the 20th, I think that is, then this is good to go. Any questions on the budget? No. For the coordinators reports, we have two again. We have the one from March, which we did discuss at last month's meeting, but could not vote on due to lack of quorum. And we also have the April coordinator report meetings. I don't know if anyone wants to rehash the March report or not. If not, we'll just move on to April. Ron, do you want to go through it or should I?
I'm working off a TV screen.
You want me to do it? I have a hard copy in front of me.
Yeah, all I can find is March on here.
Okay, let me do the April meeting then. So in April, we had basically 18 April programs and another 8 prior month programs that were shown. Total number of programs to date for the fiscal year is 166, I'm sorry, which if you project out means that we'll have about 199 by the end of the fiscal year at the end of June. During the month for April live hits on our Teleview Cloudcast, we had 135 live hits. We did not have April VOD hits available to us on the Cloudcast because there was an issue that prevented Chris from getting those numbers. And we'll get to that issue in a second. YouTube, we had a total of 452 live and VOD hits. We can't separate those out. We get the combined total. In terms of comments, the most meetings are still being held virtually, and we're helping the town out by broadcasting almost all of them. The only regular meeting that seems to be held live is the Board of Ed. Optimum and Frontier equipment seem to be functioning without issue. And Assistant Coordinator Kelly encountered some difficulty in loading long programs onto the Teleview Cloudcast VOD system. And there is apparently a file size limit, and that's what was giving him the problem. As a result, he had to remove and then re-upload a whole bunch of programs. And that's one of the reasons we don't have any statistics for Cloudcast for April. He's now updated his workflow to make smaller file sizes going forward. So that problem should be avoided in the future. If not, I've asked him to contact Telview to see if they can offer any assistance. Town Talk, Assistant Coordinator Kelly will be assisting in converting some of the Police Academy tapes to a compatible, editable format. I don't know if you got a chance to pick up those tapes yet. Not yet.
Haven't. There's just been a lot of stuff on the agenda.
Yeah, March and April were kind of really a lot of programs for Chris to deal with, plus the technical issues. So there was a lot of things got delayed.
There's some what?
The meetings were just a little longer than usual. So,
What?
Some of the meetings were a little longer than they normally are, and it may have something to do with the finance, the budget.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions on the April coordinator report? Hearing none, I will take two more. I'll take the motion to approve both coordinator reports if we want to do it that way.
So moved.
I heard Gary, who seconded.
Second.
Okay, that was Bob Kelly seconded. All in favor of approving both coordinator reports?
Aye.
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 Thank you. It's unanimous again. Next is the action items. I'm not sure if we should go over these because I'm not sure if you really had the opportunity to make progress on most of these, given the
Busyness.
the amount of effort you had to put in on getting the programming straightened
I've
out.
made some progress. I just don't. The Zoom procedures are just taking some time because they're just kind of unique to how we don't really do our in-person meetings the same as we do Zoom meetings. So there's even as stuff like editing, post-production, we do Zoom a little differently. So in terms of coming up with instructions for that, there's just a lot of detail that I'm trying to cover.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll put off discussion of those till next month. Hopefully, you'll have an opportunity to get to those action items.
Yep.
Next item is the CAC grant, Cable Advisory Council grant. The next grant request is due to Cable Advisory Council on July 15th. Chris was tasked with pulling together a list of equipment he needs. The proposed thing we're going to do for the CAC grant this year is to update the audio video system in the Orange Board of Education meeting room where we broadcast their board meetings and try and make it similar to what we have in Town Hall. Chris has sent out a list of equipment, and I did send it to everyone, so you should have a copy. And I've reviewed it, and he also sent out a schematic of what that meeting room hookup will look like. The schematic does not show all the equipment, but it shows the most important pieces of the equipment. And I went down the list earlier today, and I just had a couple of questions. A couple of comments. So the first three items are renewal of subscription. So we have two pieces of software, which is Adobe Creative Cloud and Parallels, and those are subscriptions. So we have to basically renew the subscription each year. So Chris has asked for that. And it's about one of them costs the Creative Cloud costs $120. And the parallel software is about $100. And then we have our annual subscription with Telview for managing our live broadcasts and our video on demand cloudcast broadcasts. And that's about a $3,200 hit. That's our subscriptions. Beyond that, we have the equipment needed to upgrade the Board of Ed meeting room. And first, there's a bunch of network and video equipment. There's a request, you want to do 3 cameras like we have at Town Hall.
Yes.
Next, there's a universal, an uninterruptible power supply for protection in case the power goes out. I couldn't find that model number when I tried looking it up online. I think it's missing. You have BR 1500 VA. I think it's BR 1500 MS2 is the right model number, actually.
Okay.
I was trying to get the pricing, or check the pricing and where you could get it. Then there is a splitter that That's a small. That's like a $6 item.
Mhm.
The backup is $209. The cameras are $2,100 each for three of them. There's $6,300 for three of them. Then there was a power over Ethernet switch, a 16-port switch, which is about $300. There was an additional 8-port switch for $120.
Yep, I'm just going to pause you right there. The 8-port switch is for portable shoots. That's like an equipment. That's an expense that it's not really related to our Board of Ed project here. It's it's just for our inventory and.
Why don't you take it off that list?
Well, it just belongs in a different place on this list.
It really is.
A list of all the equipment.
Category.
So it's just in a different category on the same list. All right. It's all CAC requests. We'll have to sort the list into categories, different categories.
Yep.
Then you have 100 feet of cable and then another 25 feet of cable. Those are $48 and $18. Then there's a bunch of audio equipment. The first item is an audio mixer, and it's the same one we have in Town Hall. It's a Behringer X32 rack. That I looked at that. That is not available anywhere right now. It is, in fact, one place said it was discontinued. Amazon said they're out of stock on it. And on B&H, if you search for it on B&H, it doesn't even come up. The page comes up with a whole bunch of others, and that one, and it just says not available, but it doesn't say back ordered. It doesn't say anything other than unavailable. So I don't know what the real story is with that. Is if it's discontinued, just like a lot of electronic equipment, the supply chain is a mess.
I think because of COVID, because that is a mixer that's mostly used for. It's a very versatile mixer, but it's heavily used in the live sound industry. And with no live music or anything like that, a lot of things in that category have kind of been put on halt. So it could be because of that. I could try to find an alternative. I really like those pieces of equipment. I think this company Sweetwater had it.
Yeah, I saw that, and they seem to have a few of them.
Yeah.
Another company said that they were going to get more, but they didn't give a date. And then a bunch of price gougers who were charging like 3 times the price for it for the few they have. And so it's a $1,000 item, and they were charging like $2,800 for it. And even somebody was selling a used one for like twice the price. I think it would be prudent to get an alternative if you can find one.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully this will come back online between now and July 15th.
Yep. Or hopefully they're coming out with a new model or something. That'd be great.
Or something, yeah. Okay. Then there was a wireless microphone receiver, which is a $2,500 item. Then a wireless microphone system, $474, and you want 2 of those, so it's $948.
Mm-hmm.
And then 12 gooseneck microphones for the meeting room, and then a bunch of different cable lengths of just cabling to connect everything.
Yes.
So if I added all of that up, came out to a little over $19,000. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this list or not. I know I did send it to everyone yesterday or Tuesday night.
I did not see it, frankly.
It's in the package I sent out Tuesday night. You'll have to take a look at it.
I haven't been on the web. I do have a question. Are you supplying mics for the entire board?
Yeah, I got the same mics that we're using in Town Hall now.
Yeah.
I'm proposing to get those. Yep.
What about leaving that stuff there? Now they need it when you're not there.
We are going to leave that stuff there.
Okay.
And we use the closet to store it all at the end of the night. Oh, and maybe we could put a case on the list to store all the mics in or something.
Do they leave them set up on the tables?
No, we take them down at the end of the night.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Chris, if you would please update the list by finding a case that you want.
Yeah, I'll think of some sort of thing, something that can hold all that stuff. I don't know
Right.
exactly what yet, but I'll have to
Yeah.
look into that. Thanks. Yeah, that's a good
Okay,
point.
so yeah, so Ron, just to clarify, this equipment is going to stay at the Board of Education. It is going to replicate what we have in Town Hall as best we can, I guess.
Except they take everything down, so you have to completely redo the room each time.
You have to set up the audio
Yeah.
microphones each time. It's not. I mean,
So where are you going to put the stuff in that closet, or
yeah. Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
that'd be all right.
Yeah, there's space in there.
All right. And I take it you have talked to their IT person over there about doing this. I think you said you were going to do that a few.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit more in detail about it. About, I just want to make sure he's maybe. I propose Ubiquity because we use Ubiquity at Town Hall, but he might not want a Ubiquity switch. He may have other switches. He may even be able to provide a switch. I don't know. I'm not actually saying. There might be some things that he could definitely assist with. I gotta talk to him more in detail about it, but I did mention it.
Okay, so the other thing I noticed when I look at the schematic,
Yeah,
it shows us plugging into their network.
that's right. Yep.
You've
that's
got
what we do
permission.
now.
I assume you've spoken to him about getting permission to do that.
Essentially, we do that now. We go in there with a switch, we plug it into their network, and that's what we've sort of set that up together.
Okay.
That sort of, yeah.
Okay, and it also the diagram, schematic diagram shows an audio control tablet. That's the one we use right now in Town Hall.
It does. Yep.
Okay, and that's not a problem taking it back and forth.
No, unless there's a meeting the same night. So maybe we should get another one. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I was thinking we could use the one here, but if there's two meetings in one night, which there are occasionally, I would like to have two.
Are you planning on mounting the cameras in the ceiling or putting them on tripods?
They're going to be mounted on the wall.
On the wall. Okay.
Yep.
Who's going to do that?
I can do that.
You can, or you can have someone else do it.
I could have someone else do it. That's one thing I wanted to talk to Matt about. It's very simple to mount. It's the wall is sheetrock, and the wall mount. We're actually going to use the wall mounts that we bought for the cameras that we have in Town Hall now. So that's a $300 expense that we could take off the list. I didn't add that because we have 3 that we never used because we use the existing mounts here, and I have all the hardware for it and everything. It's pretty simple to mount, but if I have some issues, I can definitely reach out to someone.
These cameras are powered by the line in, right?
They're powered by
The line out, I mean.
They're powered by Ethernet, so we need one cable, and I propose the cable is on the list as well. We have
So you
3.
won't need to hook up any electricity to anything.
Everything's low voltage, or just Ethernet with plug and play.
Good. That's the way it should be.
Yep.
Okay, the other thing is it shows a TriCaster 4K Mini. We do have 2 of those, right?
Yeah, we do. I'm sorry. Did we get 2 years of ProTech coverage, or did we get 1 year for the TriCasters?
Whatever they offered, we got. I'd have to go look it up. I know one of our things. I think the original contracts had 2 years, and then the renewals are only 1 year, if I remember.
So we might have to renew.
That's what I remember.
We might have to renew the ProTech coverage.
Okay.
On the
Wait. We'll have to look up when we bought this. I think we bought the last one in the last grant. It might have a 2-year contract on it. We'll have to look up.
Yeah, the 4K one I believe has a 2-year contract, but I can't remember if we bought a 1-year renewal plan for the SDI Mini. So I'll look into that.
I'll look at it too, just to make sure one of us gets it right. All right. I know there was a little bit of confusion when we did the renewals in the last CAC grant as to how many years and what was covered.
Yep.
And I know we thought we went around and around because we thought we needed a separate contract for one item of equipment. It turns out it was covered by the on one contract actually covered two pieces of equipment,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that at the time. Then we straightened that out.
Yep. Oh, and there was one thing. So I did talk to New Tech a couple of months ago because I was trying to understand how that works, and I was hoping maybe there was an easy way to kind of go on some portal that they have, some sort of login, and see what our active, just see the activity when when we have to renew things and whatever. And they said that there's something that we could do to set that up to make it pretty easy to manage all of our licenses and whatnot. But we would need to sync all of our licenses and basically get all of them renewed or whatever at the same time. So I wanted to look into that and see if that's an option or see if they can maybe work around that. There was a couple of things we had to do in order to sync it up. So I'll reach out to them again and see if that changes anything with how we go about this process.
Okay. So you'll check with New Tech on better renewal options and syncing contracts. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yep.
All right. So that in terms of TriCasters, we do have two of them, and one of them we actually had purchased for moving around like remote shoots.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that's the one we would take over the Board of Ed when there's a meeting there.
Yeah,
But it
we're
would
not
still
gonna
be available
right.
to us. We wouldn't leave it there. We would
No.
take it back to town hall. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all the questions I had on it. Anyone else have any questions on this?
I think you covered it, Saul.
All right. Okay. So there are a few things you got to do in terms of adding another tablet, looking at their TriCaster contract renewals. And if there's any other equipment anyone thinks of that we might want to get, please let us know. Let Chris and Ron know. And we'll see if we can add it to the list. We have the June meeting and then the July meeting to finalize this because, as I said, the request for the grant is due into Cable Advisory Council on July 15th. So we got to straighten it out in the next month and a half, 2 months. Okay, any questions on that? Nope. Thank you. Next item is equipment inventory. To my knowledge, you haven't bought anything else that goes on the inventory?
No, that 4K converter came in. It works great. I sent the old one back. So that's all set.
Great. I forgot to ask about that actually. Glad you brought that up.
Actually, if you get a chance, I just need I might need your latest copy of the inventory, if you have it. And what I'll do is I'll take that serial number that came from the old broken one, and I'll add a new line and put the new model and say that the old one was sent back.
Okay. I'll send you the latest inventory I have. I think that is the latest one. I think I sent it to you, and I don't think anything's been added ever since.
Okay.
I'll send you another one. If you could store it where we normally store it online.
Yeah, I've been saving everything in the Google Drive folder.
Yeah.
So that's where we can keep it.
All right, I'll send that to you.
I think you could just put in the new serial number. I don't think you have to, say you sent it back and all that.
No, we're just that's all I was going to do. I'm going to send him a copy of it so he can change the serial number basically.
No, right, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we don't need to specify that it was broken and then
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Just have just the one. That's all you need.
Right. Okay. That's inventory. The next item is town talk, and we're basically stuck trying to convert some tapes to a format that can be easier to edit. And that's it for the agenda. Does anyone else have anything else?
Just a question on the inventory. How do we handle retiring equipment?
It usually gets, I'd have to look at it, but I know we either put the word obsolete on the line and how we disposed of it, or we do that and put it on a separate tab, which is an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So we might only have the active equipment on one tab and inactive equipment on another. But we definitely, when we dispose of equipment, we definitely write that it was disposed of.
Yeah, I haven't disposed of anything. I've been throwing everything up into the attic, and we have a nice spot there that
It's going to be quite a spot.
we got a nice little pile there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can update that, and if you guys have any recommendations on what we could do with this old stuff, it's kind of just sitting there. But
Well, I was just thinking we should probably come up with a policy for it.
I know, like in IT, we take, if something's obsolete, we take it to e-recycling, and that's kind of, and whenever something gets retired, on the IT side in the town, we just bring it to the transfer station, and there's a place where we can drop off the electronics.
Yeah, anything that's working might, they have an auction every year. You might want to give some of that stuff to the fire department.
Yeah, actually, Marlene just made me aware that just before you said that, Marlene said the town always has an auction like every year of retired equipment. If any of it is usable by someone else, that might be a good way to go. Just give it to the town to auction off.
Okay.
And if they don't auction, I think they dispose of it. I think.
Sure. Okay. So I'll make a auction pile and a e-recycling pile and try to manage that a little bit better so we can get rid of that pile. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we're probably never going to touch again.
I really wouldn't spend any time on that right now. You got enough to do.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I think Mike
Make a
wanted to
motion
beat
to
you, Bob.
adjourn.
I got that one.
Okay. Thank you all. Good night.